How's it going?
It's going good. I feel much better, except for the fact that I have pneumonia now.
Okay, well, I hope you don't die, and you should also see a doctor.
It's
Um,
okay. It's not that bad.
no, you should still see a doctor.
I'll be fine, probably.
Okay, I really hope you are. Um, so my opener, or the opener for the week, is can money buy happiness?
Um, that is an opener. That's a question.
It certainly is a question.
Do you want me to go first, or are you going first?
Dude, I'd like you to go first.
Okay. I just had like 3 packets of Fun Dip, so I'm kind of like hyper right now, but it's okay.
Awesome. Incredible.
No, like to an extent, money can buy happiness to the fact that you will become happy when you buy things. Like physically, that's why there's such thing as a shopping addiction. Like buying something and spending money releases serotonin and dopamine, which makes you happy. That is like the happy chemical.
hmm
So yes, money can buy you happiness, and having more money allows you to buy more things. But also, money isn't a like source of continued happiness. You can't find fulfillment in having. I mean, I guess you can have fulfillment in having a lot of money, but it's never like it's always a lesser fulfillment than you'd get from anything else, like having friends or being a socially like available person. So to an extent, money can buy happiness, but it will never fill that hole in your heart that's always going to be there.
I see. Um, I think that money is okay. I'm gonna kind of start backwards. I don't necessarily think money can buy happiness, but I think it's very hard to be happy without money because money is literally it's the currency of society. You literally need it to exist. I feel like to an extent, it's like a prerequisite to be alive. So it's like I think it's pretty hard to be happy without money, but I don't necessarily think that if you just have all the money in the world, you're gonna be happier, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that. Like money is pretty necessary for living and to experience happiness. But yeah, you need it to live, but it's not the source of happiness. It's just like a means to get there.
Yeah, I actually really like the way you put that. It's just a means to get there.
I think the another part of money buying happiness is money also kind of in a way represents what you how what you did to like get your money. So if I worked like a grueling 9 to 5 job, it, you know, intense hours every week, then I'm probably going to be more fulfilled when I spend that money on something that I really enjoy than if I put all of it in the stock market and within 3 days got $1 billion and then I took all of it out and was able to buy something because it took me a lot less effort to get my stock money than my work money.
I
You know?
see. Yeah. Even if it's the same dollar amount, the value is different, you know? Is that like what you're trying to say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you think it's like a direct correlation with how much or like how hard or a mix of both? Like how much money or how hard you've worked or like a mixture of both?
I mean, I definitely think it's a mixture of both, but also it's a very subjective thing because people are more inclined to buy other things or more inclined to use their money in different ways. It really just depends on what you enjoy
I see.
or like and like how you feel about it.
Okay, I want to ask this one specific question. It's on the same topic still. Do you think that billionaires are happier than 9 to 5 workers?
Um, I mean, yes, because 9 to 5 workers have like terrible lives. I'm gonna be honest. A 9 to 5 worker didn't have to suffer through all their grueling hours or like work as intensely. They would be as happy as billionaires.
Okay,
Um,
so you think so let me rephrase or like not rephrase, but ask a different question. So 9 to 5 worker and billionaire, they both do the same amount. They do both work just as hard as each other. But the 9 to 5 worker who is now not a 9 to 5 worker does whatever a billionaire would do just gets the amount of money they normally get, let's say 60, $70,000 a year, and then the billionaire's a billionaire, you think they'll be around the same happiness?
Yeah, I mean, if they're both doing the same amount of work, like at a point, $1 billion is just kind of like a number. There's no possible way for a human. Yeah, there's like, you cannot spend $1 billion in any capacity, um, ever really. So it's basically the same thing. Like if I was a 9 to 5 worker and I just got like passive income for doing literally nothing, I would probably have the same amount of happiness if I got $1 billion, because you know
Okay,
I have money and time. So
interesting. What about like there's this like idea that like money equals freedom. Like if you're bound to $70,000, you can't do things like go to Turks and Caicos every weekend or whatever. Like this, I don't know why I thought of that, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
do you think like that plays in at all? Like, I can't do certain things because I don't have the money.
I mean, yeah, I that could play in, but I think that it's you certainly will have like less to do, right? Like you'll have less opportunities, and I agree with that idea that money equals freedom, but I don't think it's inherently like, this is gonna sound weird to say, but I don't think having like less freedom money wise is necessarily a bad thing. I think that, you know the saying, like all things in moderation.
Yeah, for sure.
If I was to go to, I can't remember who said, if I was to go on a vacation every single weekend, then that would probably get stale and not mean as much as a vacation every so often, um, or every like year.
Yeah.
Which is why, um, I still would probably stick with my position of like there's a relatively equal happiness between someone with a lot of money, and a lot of time, and someone with a minor amount of money and a lot of time.
Yeah. Um, I think that's cool. I think that's a good take. I don't know. I think overall, I honestly think it won't make a overall difference on the happiness level. Because like you said, in the beginning, it's not everything, and there's just money can only do certain things. And honestly, I think that even if I had the freedom to do whatever, money wise, I don't think it made that big of a difference. Low key.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I can go.
Awesome.
My first question is kind of related to money, but not at all the same. It's talking about, is it moral to shop at like a corrupt business? Like, for example, I'll do a call out post. Like Amazon.com, they're known for exploiting workers and building factories in incredibly what like poor areas to make it cheap, and like absolutely like cutting corners, being kind of a scum. Is it moral to buy things from Amazon? Just really in general.
I think I think it's to a point. It depends. If you're buying from Amazon, just in like it depends on your means. If you have the means to go somewhere that's not Amazon or order from somewhere else that's not Amazon, you probably should. But if you don't have the means to like go out to the store or wait X amount of time from shipping from somewhere that's not Amazon, because Amazon is pretty fast with their shipping. It's like ultimately it's not something that you should be doing. Like you don't want to support that. It's not moral to support that. But there comes to a point where it's like, what are your means? And you have to think like, do I have another actual option? That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You reminded me of this idea. I can't remember. Ow, thanks pneumonia. I can't remember if it has an actual name or not that I was coming up with, but it's like there's this idea that I think about sometimes, that's like only like the privileged can protest, in kind of a way of like, if you are not in a financially stable or um socially stable, mentally stable, like any stable position, then you shouldn't have to burden yourself with trying to make a societal change. You should focus on staying alive and like fixing your problems first, which is kind of how I feel about shopping at things like Amazon. If you have the means to not shop there and not support that business, then you should absolutely do that. And that's a moral thing to do. But if you have no other choice, like I have to get clothes from this one Amazon outlet because that's the only place that ships to me and whatever, then you are within your rights to do that. And you can do that. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a good idea or you should feel good about it, but I won't fault you for it.
Yeah, that's like exactly how I feel. I'm not gonna be like, yay, Amazon. But I'm also not
Yeah.
gonna like fault you for it because at the end of the day, like it's hard to be at the top without being corrupt, you know?
Yeah.
Do you have like a devil's advocate at all for that or
I mean, my main argument is kind of like half devil's advocate of like, if you don't have enough, if you don't have enough privilege, then you might have to shop there. But also another idea would be like, I don't really care because it's nothing that Amazon ever does is going to affect me. So why should I care? But, an argument to that would be, I don't know there's a poem that I was just thinking about. It's like with the Nazis. This is a reductio ad Hitlerum, but it's like with the Nazis, where eventually you think you're safe and you keep feeding this like oppressive entity. They will come for you, and
yeah.
you will be the next person on the chopping block.
First they came for blank, then they came for blank, and then they came for you. It's like
Yeah, and it's like first they came for blank and I didn't say anything, and yeah, then they came for me and no one said anything.
yeah, rebutted that pretty well, but also for the argument of like if something is that I'm doing and I have the means to not do it and it's negatively affecting not only one person but groups of other people, like sure you can make the argument I don't care, but that just makes you kind of an asshole. Like
Yeah,
there are people that are directly being affected by it, and it's like you should care about other people. We kind of talked about this a lot last episode with empathy. It's kind of an important thing. Um,
yeah,
so like at the end of the day, if something affects you or not, that should not be your only motivation for anything. Like there's a degree to it. Like
yeah,
you're important, but you're not the only thing that's important. That's all.
yeah. I agree with that. Um, Another question is, does this change when it's talking about like a specific product? Like, for example, plastic silverware or like plates, disposable plastic. That's like can be very damaging to the environment, but it's sometimes can be a lot easier to manage than like an actual ceramic plate and with a dishwasher and stuff. Maybe you pay less on your water bill or whatever.
Well,
Should you get that?
it depends. I think again, like if you're privileged enough, you should not be getting these plastic forks and plastic plates. If you have the ability and you're not worried about how much your water bill is, you should be able to just buy a ceramic, buy metal or whatever, and clean it. But if you're struggling on paying your water bill every month and there's nowhere else for you to go, buy the plastic forks. Like I have plastic forks because I don't have a dishwasher or a sink that's not in my bathroom. I live in a dorm. I feel like I don't really have another option. That's all.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of the same as last time, it just depends on the means. I don't think my answer changes like pretty much at all.
yeah. I mean, I can think of a reason that could change my answer, which is like the with Amazon, it's more about like your money is a support of that. But with plates like and silverware for this example, it's to me it's kind of like that thing's already been made. Which doesn't change how I shouldn't buy it because I am still supporting an institution that makes that. But it's like it's already been made and the damage has already been caused by it existing. And if I don't get it, somebody else is going to get it. So what's the harm in me getting it? Which I don't necessarily agree with that line of reasoning. But it is one that exists and can be used to justify stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, but it already exists, sure. You buy it, you don't buy it. Let's say you buy it, and then someone else walks by, it's not there. The store has to restock and buy more and more get produced, you know, like would more get produced anyways, I guess. But like you're still like you said, you're still like supporting it and contributing to it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. And I think that's a interesting perspective. I don't agree with it, but sure. So this question has kind of been on my mind since last week. I kind of like, after we wrapped up last week, I kind of wanted to ask this because we talked a lot about the Big Bang and how that could be a god in a sense. So my question is actually, if there were to be a god, do you think that it would be a sentient being?
It's kind of hard to tell because our definition of sentience is very limited to what a human can experience. And with a god, it's like by definition completely unknowable, like literally cosmic horror compared to us. It's like it's completely unknowable, absolutely like incomprehensible. So while yes, I think a god would be sentient, I also think everything is in some form sentient because it exists. Like even inanimate objects are in some very rudimentary way like sentient because it is existing and fulfilling its purpose of being an inanimate object.
Okay.
So
Can I
you
try
know,
rephrasing?
yeah,
If there were to be a god, would this god have created? We'll just start with Earth. Earth with intent. Would it be something that was done intentionally, basically?
it depends on your like kind of theology or your idea of what a god would be. To me, I don't think it would have. I think that a god that created the universe would have created with some, I guess, set of rules in mind instead of like a story in mind. Like this is how I want everything to function, and it's going to function, which would have ended up creating some kind of Earth or the world.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but that's also like a very I don't know how to describe it. A very human centric kind of idea of like there was even a purpose to anything
Yeah, I guess.
instead of just. So I don't think that Earth or would have been created with any sort of intent.
I'm still struggling to come up with an answer, but I'm leaning towards no, because mainly just like natural selection. Like it took so many millions, billions of years for us as a species to get where we are now, and that's just us. You know, there's many other species that are around today have all undergone natural selection, and they're all here, and they're all fit to be here. But it took so much time, and there's so much change. If there were to be a god that would create something with intent, why would we need natural selection? Why would we need evolution? Why would we need to adapt? I guess.
Uh, I agree with that. But I do have like a rebuttal to it.
Listening.
There's this idea that gods, since they are all powerful, can create a world where time existed before it. So there's a concept called last Thursdayism, which is that the universe was created last Thursday. A god created everything last Thursday and put all of the history behind it and all of your memories behind it. And you'll never know because it was created completely perfectly as if it was never created last Thursday. So a god could create something that looks and functions exactly like natural selection, but just placed it but did it last Thursday and created it, in the future. So that there could have been an intent there, but I also don't think that I still don't think a god would think as a human, and have an intent to do anything other than just create.
Yeah, like the idea that a god would think the same way we do is insane. Is that crazy to say?
Yeah.
Is that a hot take?
No, that's well, I think that's a hot take for some sects of theology, but I don't think that's a hot take for me.
Like, we are an animal that has evolved, or if we're talking last Thursdayism, that is just here. Um, like, and in if there were a god, something were to create us. Like, why why should we assume that we are on the same level of intellect as that being that literally made us? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean exactly. It's like it's weird. I think I might go on a short rant about Christianity, but if you're fine with
Oh
that,
yeah, go for it.
because like modern day sects of Christianity have like this very weird idea that like God has some kind of humanity or some kind of like thought and ability to express in a human way, when that's just like so clearly by virtue of being a god, like a fundamentally impossible idea. Because again, a god is so different. Like it's even mentioned in like previous Christianity or like Christian books. The Book of Job has a whole section where God goes on like a 3-page rant talking to maybe it's not Job. I think it is Job, talking to Job about how Job doesn't know anything about God. God doesn't know why Job doesn't know why whales exist. You don't know why I do the things I do because you are not God. You have no idea how I think and why I do things. You cannot question me because I am so fundamentally different from humans and so far above you that you are like an insect to me. So I think it's weird that Christians have co-opted this idea that like God is just a human but really powerful, instead of like God is a being that is like an actual cosmic horror compared to us.
Yeah, I think you said it very well. Um, I don't even think I have anything to add besides I agree.
Yeah.
I th
Who wrote that book? Who wrote those books? Who was like the father of cosmic horror?
uh,
The racist one.
oh, that's like every history guy ever.
No,
Loki.
he H.P. Lovecraft, Lovecraftian. That's the word I was looking for.
Okay. But yeah, I think that if a god were to be sentient, this god would be thinking on a whole nother level that we can't even comprehend. So our idea of sentient could not even apply. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't think that there is necessarily an intent behind our creation as a universe, I guess, or it's a lot more easier for me to think about as Earth because that's really all that I know about. I mean, and especially because there's like life here, it's a lot easier to think about how everything is so perfect and we are here, but nowhere else, like nowhere else is habitable. And it took us so many thousands, millions, billions of years to adapt to even be perfect. We had to undergo so much lineage. It just doesn't seem plausible. Like if there was intent, all of this history would be different, I guess. We would, like, why would there need to be something, a species more fit than another? If we were just created with intent, there could just be different species that could be fit for everything perfectly or different things perfectly. There's no need to change to adapt if there's intent behind creation. I kind of already
Yeah.
said that. Fuck. Oh
No,
well.
but I agree. No, it's fine to repeat yourself. Um, and I had a thought I was gonna say, but I completely forgot what it was. So, oops.
Oh, if you think about it, just let me know.
Yeah.
You wanna fire a question?
Yes, but I like threw my phone across the room in a fit of I can't even
In a
remember.
fit of Lovecraftian rage.
So my next question is about a short story. So I think I accidentally put like a question about a form of media in every single one of these we've done before, so I think I'll just keep it as like reoccurring.
No, yeah, that's fire. Not gonna lie.
So I was thinking about the book, the short story by Harlan Ellison, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, which is about a rogue AI who kills all of humanity except for 5 people and tortures them for all eternity.
Fun.
And like, because he hates humanity so much. Uh, and in the story's like peak spoilers, by the way. It's a good short story, and I think you should read it, but I'm gonna spoil it. The main character Ted, in kind of a idealized form of mercy, kills his other 4 humans, and is punished by the AI. So my question is, do you think that Ted, or like killing 4 people who are suffering eternally, is a morally just thing to do? And would you take a punishment for that?
Okay. My immediate thought is absolutely. Um, I've said before that I don't think death is justified in any means, but like there's this idea that even like modern society accepts it's like putting out of your misery, so to speak. And it's like
Yeah.
these guys are literally being tortured, like this like Roman style like edge of death torture or what? Like
No, it's kind of like I'm gonna implant visions of food all the way across the world, and you're gonna walk there, and I'm gonna watch you and laugh at you while you're doing it.
yeah, eternal. This is eternal, right? Eternal suffering. There's no end to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, I think that Ted did the morally right thing in killing them, which I don't think I would ever say that ever, except for right now. Um, yeah, I think that Ted did the morally right thing. These people are experiencing nothing other than literal torture for the rest of time. Putting them out of their misery, like so to speak, is probably better than that. I mean, how can it get worse? I don't know. Um, yeah, I'd say that Ted did the right thing. Now, would I take the punishment for that? If I'm already being eternally tortured, like, what would the punishment even look like?
oh, it's like low-key worse than what they're experiencing. He gets turned into a slug monster, which, as the title goes, has no mouth, but he must scream. So,
I mean, I'd probably take the punishment if I'm already being eternally tortured anyways. I mean, not gonna lie, I'd probably tank that one for the team.
yeah.
But actually,
Um,
it brings me up to a different thing. I don't think I'd personally be able to take away this person's life, even if I think it's the right thing to do. I don't think I could actually bring myself to do that. Low key.
yeah. I mean, that's I would agree with that. I think that killing them is definitely a morally just thing to do. Keeping them alive not only feeds like the rogue AI's delusions. There's not a humanity or anything to continue, so there's no reason. Like, thinking about my 2-month time frame in the future, keeping them alive for 2 months will have incredible amounts of suffering for them, but killing them will do literally nothing, because there's nothing to affect.
Literally nothing that's better than that.
Yeah. So I would definitely kill 4 people, and I think that taking the punishment is, while not good, a better thing to do. Like, I'd rather let myself suffer infinitely just for a few people to, I guess, not suffer, to be in a state of nothing.
Yeah. Completely agree.
But going to your idea of like, this actual situation, would I be able to do that? The way he kills them is also like really brutal. He stabs them on like ice spikes.
Yeah, but like they're already experiencing brutality every day.
That's true. But it's like me physically, I don't know if I would be able to do that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But
um, you know,
yeah, it's a recurring theme, like a trolley problem situation. We're actually in there. It's a bit different, but
yeah,
I do think it's the morally right thing to do, but maybe even like a moral duty, honestly.
yeah.
But yeah, I think so.
I mean, a deontologist would disagree, but
I don't know what that means.
Oh, well, that remember when you were talking about the trolley problem, and I was like, there's people that wouldn't pull the lever because they want to stay out, and it's their
Yeah.
moral duty to not cause any harm. That's a deontologist.
Yeah.
Is they believe that's in strict rules, and one of the strict rules is don't cause death, and so they would morally not be able to kill somebody.
I get that, but like at the same time, like I feel like that's such a cop out. You're watching five people die, but it's just because you're
Yeah,
watching it and you literally have the ability to kill four less people, but you're saying if I touch this button, I get involved. I understand your point of view to an extent, but I feel like you're low key just not thinking deep enough. Like you have to understand someone's you're there and you're literally letting it happen, and you have to take responsibility for that, at least to a certain degree. Like you're just not taking responsibility unless you actually touch a button when you have the power to like actually do something. That's stupid in my opinion.
yeah.
Whoa. I just said a lot of words.
No, no, it's okay. I agree with that.
Yeah. Oh well. Deontologist, not my school of thought, I'll say.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of deontologists.
Yeah.
I'd be stoked for real.
Low key cop out mentality. So I got a question that I think my answer to it, but I want to hear your answer because I think it's gonna be very different from anything I have to say. But
Okay.
my question is that what is your biggest personal fear? So like on a personal level, not like a societal level.
That is an interesting question. I don't know. I have to think about that.
Okay, I can go first then.
Yeah, you go first.
Dying, dead, no longer consciousness gone. That's really fucking scary, dude. Um, I said it before, I think it's my biggest fear. My consciousness just not being here. That's really fucking scary.
Yeah, no, I can definitely. Well, I don't agree with that being like my biggest fear. I'm not really afraid of that. I definitely see where people come from when they talk about
Yeah.
the fear of death. Like it's a weird thought to think like I won't be able to experience instead of just like, you know.
Yeah, because like I know if you think about it deeper, something that you've said before is you won't have the capacity to care once you're dead, which is true. You won't have the capacity to care, but it's still scary. It's like just I cannot comprehend me not existing or being able to exist, my consciousness being gone. And if I'm dead, I will not be capable of remembering or caring about what life was like. That is true. But it's just still so scary. And yeah.
Yeah. I think my answer to that question of my biggest personal fear is like after my death, when you know that saying of like you die twice, once when you die, and then a second time when your name is said for the last time.
Yeah.
Like I think the idea that someday I'm just going to be forgotten and no one's ever going to know I existed is kind of crazy to me because like there are so many humans that we just don't know about and never contributed anything to the world. And I don't want to end up like that. I don't want to be forgotten.
No, yeah, that's low key, completely understandable.
So, that's that.
Yeah, it's completely understandable. One day we will return to dust and there will be nobody who remembers us.
Yep.
It'll be as if
That's
we
great.
didn't exist.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, I'm low key pondering. That's like low key the point of the show.
But yeah, that's like the point of the show.
Um,
This one's a little bit I don't want to say spicy, but it is a little spicy.
okay.
I was thinking about extreme kinks and like you know, things like a CNC kink or
Yeah.
like age play,
Yeah.
just to name a few. And if it's a moral thing to participate in those activities as two consenting adults or two or more consenting adults, I guess.
So I am definitely open to having my mind changed about this. I will start with that. But
Okay.
as of right now, I see no real reason why it's not okay if they're two consenting adults and it's just like strictly a consensual kink thing. I don't really see why not.
I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with that. To an extent, there's one specific one that I do not condone, um, which is kind of weird. It sounds a little bit like a double standard. Like everything else is fine because usually it's used as like a coping mechanism or a tool to explore some kind of trauma. But the specific one of like pedophilia, that is where I kind of draw the line of like that's not when people use like um pornographic material of people who look underage and they're like, oh, it's not hurting anyone because no one's actually participating in it.
Yeah, that's just weird, bro.
That's like not good because even though no one's participating in it and it's not hurting anyone, it's still promoting that as a normal thing, and you are still um like creating a space where as a society we can normalize having explicit materials of minors.
Okay, yeah, I like high-key agree. At first, when you said that, I was just overcome with this feeling of like uncomfort and like this shit's weird, but I didn't really know
It is
why.
weird. It's a weird conversation.
But now I'm low-key getting it, you know? It's like it shouldn't be normalized. You shouldn't have a community of people who all would like to goon to a minor. Like you, that's not a thing that should exist. Like
Yeah.
that's strange, promotes harmful ideas, and potentially maybe this might be a fallacy, I don't know. But like at one point, is that not enough? And you have to go out and actually do it. Like, I don't know.
Um, that is low-key a fallacy. That's a
Yeah,
slippery slope fallacy.
exactly.
But it's also like slippery slope fallacy is one of my I hate it, but also I like it because it can simultaneously be a really good tool to show that that's a bad idea, but also a bad tool because slippery slopes do exist.
I see.
That is something that can happen. And typically, material like that and people that participate in that do commit acts of like a sexual assault against minors. So it's a little bit of a proven thing, but not proven at all.
Okay, so it's like two and there's a little bit of truth in it to the slippery
Yeah,
slope. Especially it's circumstantial, I assume. But
yeah,
yeah, it's yeah, because like as as you do something more and more, even if it's like it just becomes more normal, becomes secondhand nature, and it becomes there's a point where you don't even have negative thoughts about it because maybe I'm assuming too high of these people, but maybe they're like feel a slight amount of guilt the first time that they goon to someone who is 18 but looks like they're a minor, you know, and then there comes to a point where they do it and they're like they do it again and again and again and then you know they don't feel guilty anymore because it's so normalized. It just desensitizes them to the guilt feeling if you keep doing it over and over again. And
yeah.
I realize that I am trying to explain a slippery slope, which is not necessarily something maybe I should be doing, but I'm going to do it anyways. And then they like, then the same thing could happen where it's like maybe they feel a little bit guilty about doing it with someone who's actually underage, but that guilt that they felt is significantly lessened now. I mean, I don't know. I'm low-key gonna shut up about this because I'm just literally using a fallacy.
But it makes sense kind of as reasoning. And it again, it's reasoning that does exist in the real world and has happened before. But there's also a part of it I've been looking for the paper that I read on this, but I can't find it. So maybe this is bad evidence, but who cares? Pedophilic like desires and intentions can be treated through therapy, but the difference between that and something like, for example, a CNC kink or something like that is that those can't. Those are like actual those are treatments for like a trauma, while pedophilia and you know gooning to minors is um is what can be treated. So there's a difference between both of them. It's a paraphilia versus a kink.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Don't goon to people who look like minors with the intention of doing it because they look like minors. Low key.
That's not good.
That's not good. Pretty rough performance from me on this one, if I'm being honest. But
It's a rough topic. Look,
it is a rough topic. I think I'm good though, not gonna lie. I think I'm ready to move on.
yeah, we could probably move on from that.
Okay. So I have one more question, and this low key might be a pedophile. I don't even know. I forgot. But anyways, the question is, were Romeo and Juliet actually in love?
Okay. I'm not as familiar with the Romeo and Juliet story as I probably should be.
You want the rundown, or do you know the rundown?
Give me the rundown.
All right. So there's like the Capulets and the Montagues, and they're ops, bro. They're literally ops. And then one of them's a Capulet, one of them's a Montague, and they see each other at a party or something, and then they like instantly fall in love, like on the site, bang, just like that. And for the rest of the story, they literally are just after each other, you know? Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? I need my Romeo type shit.
Yeah.
And then they fucking I forget exactly what happens, but I think she believes that he killed himself. So then she kills herself, and then he sees she's dead. He actually kills himself. I think that's how it goes, maybe. Something like that. In the end, they both die because they thought the other person died. Yeah.
Man, idiots.
Holy, yeah, idiots, bro. This is why I said I had a silly question. This is what I was referring to.
Okay. I mean, with how you described it, it sounded like love. I don't know if there's like a caveat to that.
It did, but so there's these two. Okay, in basic intro to psych level psychology, there's this idea of passionate love versus companionate love. And they both exist, but passionate love is mostly sexual and it is short term. It's the honeymoon phase, so to speak, while companionate love is people's actual capability to get along as two humans and enjoy each other's presence throughout a long-term relationship, right? So to me, it just kind of sounds like just passionate love and not companionate love. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. It does sound like that. Because you can't... I'm assuming Romeo and Juliet never met before that party where they fell in love?
No, Romeo was actually obsessed with someone else before the party.
Oh, okay. Good for Romeo, I guess. But yeah, if you have never met somebody, you can't have a compassionate love. Or compassionate love?
Companionate.
Companionate. You can't have a companionate love. Because you've never met them. But you can have a passionate love, which it sounds like that is. But I don't know if that necessarily means there isn't some form of love there.
No, because it's you go.
Yeah, you obviously, if you through like talking to them and experiencing that emotion, it can grow to a companionate love. But I mean, yeah, that was never shown in Romeo and Juliet. Obviously,
because they fucking died. Dumbasses. No, but like, yeah, I don't know. Honestly, it might be a cop-out answer, but I feel like they were just in passionate love, not companionate love. But
I mean, yeah, that's like, I think that much is obvious. But
yeah, for sure.
I also think that doesn't mean if their love could have been fostered or whatever, they could not have grown to actually love each other.
Okay, and I agree with you. And I have one more.
But
you go.
I was going to say, I've also heard that I think Juliet was like a minor, or was like 16,
yeah,
right?
I think she was like 13.
Oh, that's crazy.
And then like in modern adaptation, she's 16 because she was like 13 and like that was more normalized back then. Yeah. I'm
Is
not
that what
saying
you're gonna bring up?
no. I was gonna ask something else because I feel like the best way to answer this question is to ask another question. Yay!
Oh
And
my
that
goodness.
question is passionate love still love, or is companionate love the only form of love?
Um, I mean, I think that compassionate love still can be love because you're that kind of idea of like it can grow and mature into something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean that would also imply that like friendships can be love, but I guess it is. It is some a form of love if we use that in a non-romantic way. Um, so I think yeah,
Yeah.
it, that would be my answer. Yeah, it is. So to go on just slightly back, if Juliet is 13 and I'm assuming Romeo's like not like an adult, then no, it's actually not love because a 13, or well, it's at least not mutual love because a 13-year-old does not understand what love is, enough to have a consenting relationship with an adult. An adult can understand that a 13-year-old doesn't understand. So therefore, there's a power dynamic which makes it abusive and not a loving relationship. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
that is certainly very, very cool. No, not cool. But yeah, it's a very good point you bring up. Um, I'm still struggling to answer my own question.
Okay, that's why we ask them
That's
because
why we
they're
ask
hard.
them. They are hard.
Okay,
Um, I think
I am
yes.
hard.
Amazing.
Sorry.
I think yes. Like overall, being in passionate love and companionate love are very different. But being in passionate love, it's just like there's just this overwhelming, innate, almost animalistic, like, I need this person. And it's not even just in a sexual sense. It's just like, I need this person. I need this person's presence. I need just to be around this person. And I think that's still love, even if it's not forever, because not all love is forever, low key. But yeah, I don't think that like it's the best thing. I don't think it should be the only foundation of a relationship. But I do think there is undeniably a sense of emotion and infatuation that can be attributed to love that is there.
Okay, well, I could use the one I had prepared for next week,
Okay.
which is I guess a bonus like property question and
Okay.
also a cognitohazard. So if you care about that.
What does that mean?
So a cognitohazard means that by like cognito comes from like thinking and hazard is hazardous, which means that if you know about it, it can like harm you.
All right, I don't
So
care. We're knowers. We're knowers here.
yeah, in my opinion, the attaching a cognitohazard to this is kind of stupid, but that's just because of my thought process on it. So I'm thinking about a concept called Roko's Basilisk. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I don't think so.
It's the idea that it's another incredibly powerful AI that will, when you learn about the AI, you have a choice to devote the entirety of your life to building it and making it real. And then when it is real, it will save you and like let you live your life. Or you can not build it, and when it is inevitably built, you will be tortured, and it will, yeah, literally torture you for the rest of your life.
Hmm.
So, uh, what do you do now that you've heard this information?
Now that I've heard this information, why is this a hazard? What?
Because it's by knowing about it then that you are
Okay.
automatically implicit in what happens.
Okay. Well, so if I fully understand that this will be built, I assume sometime in my lifetime or no?
Yes.
Okay, I'm fully aware that this is going to be built sometime in my lifetime. There's nothing I can do to stop it. I understand that helping is not good and that, it's not moral to help build this overpowering AI that will torture X amount of people. But I'm probably going to build it because I am afraid of being tortured for the rest of my life. If I'm actually in that situation, I'm gonna build it. Do I think I should help build it? No, but I'm probably going to because I don't want to be tortured forever.
So here's the where well, a question I would ask now. So because you know about it, and because so many other people know about it, and have been presented with the same option you have, there is um a high possibility that someone will attempt to build it in the future. So should you start and help them right now?
Should I start and help them right now? Right now? No. Well, I don't have the assurance.
Yes, right now. If you don't devote your entire life to it, it will torture you. I agree.
Okay.
I think it's kind of a
Like you mean like in we're taking this out of the hypothetical, right? That if I'm understanding correctly.
yes.
Okay. Yeah. No, because
This is out of well, it by virtue of existing, it's out of the hypothetical anyway.
okay. Yeah. No. Because I have no I I have no assurance that this is going to be made during my lifetime, or that it even is going to be made. I have no motivation to go build it right now. I'm good. Low key.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's kind of like my thought process is there's no reason to think that anyone would try to build it and it is going to be finished. It's so complex and beyond our understanding. Like, I think part of it is also that it takes anyone who has ever thought about it. So even like dead people, it will bring their consciousnesses back through something. I don't know.
Fucking sucks, dude.
But like,
See you in a few thousand years, bro.
yeah. But like, yeah, see it. But like, honestly, like, it doesn't matter because it's such a kind of a silly concept to, you know,
it's so like bizarre. Like I have no assurance that this thing
no one will ever try to build.
exactly. I have no, even if someone tries, I have no assurance that they will be able to do it, that they will be able to preserve my consciousness to the point of that. I think that's ridiculous. Once my lights are off, they're unplugged. You can't plug them back in. That's what I think.
Yeah.
But
I mean, unless it uses all scraps of you from the digital world that it can find.
okay, man, Oh, but then
But
that
then that's also
wouldn't
like
be me,
not
though.
a true version of you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not
Like,
you.
it
That's
would
just the digital version.
exactly. It would be something like me experiencing eternal torture. But guess what? That's not me, bro. That's not me. That's not
You're
my
dead.
consciousness. I'm fucking
Would you
dead.
rather die than experience Roko's Basilisk?
Yes. That's my new greatest fear then, I guess. Roko's Castle. Sorry, this whole thing is kind of silly to me.
Bro, I know it. I agree with that. Like, I've seen a lot of people talk about how terrifying it is as a concept, but like, it's not.
Yeah,
Like, no, I don't think any rational human is ever going to build this. And if they do try, they're not going to succeed. So
yeah.
you can't
I'm
you
good.
can't lose.
I'm good off the Roko's Basilisk pack, personally.
Yeah.
Is that all you want to say
Okay.
about anything ever until next time?
Yeah, I guess that's it.